My name is Shannon Sanders, and I'm here today on behalf of the National Museum of African American Music. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Jimmie Allen. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. Doing all right.
Awesome.
Good.
Great having you.
Good being here, man.
Man, it's been a hell of a ride, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I mean, the last couple of years have just been, man, off of the charts, man.
Yeah, man. It's been, to finally, so I moved to 07 with the, dream of being an artist and getting signed to a country label here. And to finally have it happen, 2017, and it's 2019 now, and, the last year and a half, first single Best Shot going #1 for 3 weeks. And, we just did the Scott McCreary tour, a while ago tour with Kane Brown, and Chris Young. And, man, it's been a definitely a change of events over the last year, but all good things.
Oh, man, great things. So let's just off top, let's just address the elephant in the room. You are the first African American artist ever to chart #1, the debut single. Is that right?
Yeah, man. So we had, I think Charlie probably got his first one, either 6th or 7th single. And Darius got his when he first came over, but I guess they said, since I started my career in the country, whatever. But yeah, Darius was #1 with Don't Think About It.
And that's amazing, and I can tell you, just as a black man, the tremendous sense of pride that I felt when I found that out. First of all, I know you anyway, but then at the same time, I think that we all attached our hopes and dreams to you, man. And so to watch you soar, it feels like we're all flying. Hats off to you, man. Big congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
We're super proud of you, man.
Thank you. It was crazy. I remember I got the call that Best Shot was #1, and I just got home from the road because we typically find out like late Sunday night, Mondays. Just got to my apartment, just kind of walked in, just fell on my knees, and start thanking God. I got emotional and stuff, man, because when you get that glimpse of success, you automatically go back to the sacrifices it took to get where you are. So I remember the whole like living in the car thing, the whole 3 jobs at once, the whole like not eating, not sleeping, trying to find ways to work 2 or 3 jobs, but yet still take my son to Disney World. You know what I mean? Because I established that pretty young in his life, so he started expecting. I was like, well, it's not fair to him for me to, chase his dream that takes away from me making a little extra money to keep things going for him. So, I was just super thankful, man. And it was just proof that, if you work hard and, you're good to people and you put yourself out there, you can create an opportunity for you to be successful, because I feel like a lot of times, we create our own opportunities by working on our craft and putting ourselves in the position to meet the people that can change our lives.
Okay.
I got so many people that say, I'm just waiting for my opportunity, and they sit at home. I say, opportunities are created.
That's right.
They're. It's like someone said, man, I want some flowers, but they never go out and plant the seeds for the flowers to grow. So it ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? So I luckily someone taught me that years ago. You got to go out and work for what you want. And finally started paying off. So.
Man, work for it you have. Work for it you have. Publishing deals, and, writing for other folks, and then, for it to come around for you. Listening to the music, man, I hear so much of your story woven into the songs. So when I hear something like Underdog, I can't help but think that you're talking about yourself to a degree, and your own overcoming, and what it must have been for you to be, an underdog to a degree, just in a country music space. So talk to me about that. Like, when did you feel like an underdog? When did you feel like cards were stacked against you?
Kind of from the beginning, because there's, in 2007, when I moved to town, Nashville, the country music scene was still pretty traditional as far as the sound. And figure Darius didn't come over in 2008, so the black guy was Cowboy Troy and Charlie Pride. As far as like in the mainstream goes, so I look different and I sounded different because my music. I grew up a country fan, but also a rock guy, R&B, CCM, gospel, jazz, so much different things I listen to. So like my music, the stuff I make now has been the same way since since '07. So, you hear my song. I have a country lyric, but I got rock guitars in there, pop R&B melodies, just different, got some gospel stuff in there.
R&B beats,
yeah,
drums,
man, you got, it's, I was like, who am I? You know, I'm a country boy, but I'm also influenced by so many different stuff. And I was like, I don't want to limit myself and start making music that's cookie cutter just to be accepted. Because at the end of the day, you're the person you got to live with. And if you spend 3-4 years of your career making stuff you don't really like, next thing you know, you're miserable. Right. And you're like, well, how do I get out of this? So I just felt like I should just kind of stick to my guns. And, I met my manager, Ash Bowers, at a writer's round. I went to my gym to cancel my membership because I couldn't afford it anymore. And I met this kid that was working at a snack bar. Actually had my old job that I used to have at the gym. And he said, I want to introduce you to a producer. So I met this guy. And the producer introduced me to text me and said, hey, I know we never met, but I would love for you to be a part of the writers round. And that's, for those listening that might not know what that is, that's when you have 3 or 4 songwriters, singer-songwriters on stage, and you go down the line singing songs you wrote. So I get there, and then it's Chris Caminiti, the guy that invited me, and the other guy singing is Ash Bowers. So Keith Urban just released his record, Ripcord. My favorite song is a song called Boy Gets a Truck, and Ash sung it. So when you sing a song at writers round, you wrote the song.
It's your song.
So, we talked afterwards, and we met the next week, and he offered me a publishing deal pretty fast. When that was 2016, we spent the rest of that year writing. We recorded some songs, like an EP that year. February 2017, did a showcase for a few labels in town, and got offered a record deal a few weeks after that. So it's man, I can't, I remember when I got the call for the best shot. After that, the first time I heard it on the radio, I remember being the guy that was, living in his car in 2007, dreaming about where I am now. You know what I mean? So to see the turn of events and, see how God's been good, but even though sometimes you go through some stuff, and I feel like the struggles are what help you build your character.
Indeed.
My mom used to always say, God won't give you more than you can handle, and a lot of times people take that as the negative. But it's also a positive too. He won't give you success if he doesn't feel like you can withstand the temptations and everything that might kind of pull you awry from what you're focused on. I just felt like now, when I got my deal at 32, I was finally ready.
So Jimmie, there's a song on your record called All Tractors Ain't Green.
Yeah.
Tell me the lyric, the chorus.
Yeah, man. The chorus is all guitars don't sound the same. Can't judge whiskey by the bottle. Might go against the grain of that country boy model. Sometimes what you get ain't always what you see. All fields ain't corn and all tractors ain't green.
All tractors ain't green.
The guy named Tim Nichols, he wrote Live Like You Were Dying for Tim McGraw and a bunch of other songs. And Brandon Hood, we were all kind of in a room one day. And Tim is where you go when you want to write songs that kind of really cut beneath the surface. He kind of pushes you to talk about things that you want to, but you might not know how to word it. He was like, Jimmie, how do you feel about writing a song about being a black guy in country music? And I was like, I'm down with that. And he was like, because I feel like there's so many people that are, looking to you to be the representation they need, to be the extra force of confidence to step out and do something that they've been wanting to do. Because, I've realized a long time ago, representation is very important. As far as no matter what your race is or where you're from, to see someone that looks like you doing what you want to do gives you more confidence to think, hey, I belong there as well.
True.
So I remember Tim was sitting there talking about an idea, and, it's like, tractors, all tractors aren't green. And I was like,
there it is.
There you go. There you go right there. And I was like, man, so many people, like women that get told that's a man's job, or men that get told, hey, that's what women are supposed to do. I remember one time I heard this one guy, he didn't want his son to get used to doing the dishes and stuff, but that's a woman's job. I was like, hey, it's the job of whoever's close to the kitchen and need to get the dishes done.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's just so many things we've allowed society to build this expectation of this is what you're supposed to do because you look like this, you're from here, and this is how much money you make. when in all reality, man, you can do whatever you want.
It's real.
You know, the only thing, like Clark Kelly says it best, the only thing I like about boxers is the sound they make when you break out of them. You know, and I feel like you can't be afraid to be yourself. And that's where people become the most successful. And I don't mean successful as far as just being famous and being rich, but successful as far as inner happiness. It comes when you're yourself. And when you're yourself, no one can change you. No one can steal that gratifying feeling of when you've accomplished everything you set out to do.
And you know what? It makes it that much sweeter.
It does.
When you can be successful by being yourself.
Yeah, and it's so hard, man. I remember I was in LA for a little while, and a label out there offered me a deal, but they said I couldn't talk about my small town where I was from, and I couldn't wear my boots anymore. I'm like, oh,
that's a problem.
Yeah, and I was in a band at the time, and those pop deals, those signing bonuses are nice, bro. Yeah, they're nice, bro. They're nice.
Game changer.
Bro, listen, and it took everything in me to be like, this isn't for me. My band was pissed. But at the end of the day, you gotta live with yourself, and I was just frustrated. My dad was like, Jimmy, just grab your guitar and start writing what you want to write. So I went home to Delaware for a little bit, for about a week. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it anymore. And sat around in my little town, and I always felt, not that I was better, but I felt like I was too big to be here. Like as far as like there was something more for me somewhere else, not here. And I said, all right, so I went back to Nashville to start writing. And I started to fall into, the journey now and the songs and just been completely happy. And it was like I was in a groove kind of doing my own thing. I was happy that I met Ash. And we were kind of in a groove doing our own thing, and we got a deal. And then we had Best Shot song. I wrote that with two friends of mine. We're doing our thing on radio tour, just touring, blah, blah, blah. That goes #1. So we're back to doing our thing, writing some more songs. And, the new single, Make Me Want To, is #1 most added on country radio.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's again, like I've noticed when you have fun and you're being yourself and you're just doing your thing, working with your head down, not really worrying about what else happens, things typically fall into place for you.
Man, it's amazing. I mean, it's an amazing story. Your story is an amazing story. But, as far as how you connect to the overall story, I mean, at this point, you're a part of history now. At this point, people can look back at this moment and say, this is what Jimmie Allen did at this particular moment.
Yeah.
He was first.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. He was first.
Yeah, that's wild.
So for all of the people that aspire to do what you do, do you feel a certain sense of responsibility? Is there a certain sense of accountability that you feel like you owe, or responsibility that you owe to those that may be following you or looking up to you? Somewhere there's a young black boy, and he's on YouTube and he sees you. He's looking at CMT and he sees you.
Yeah.
And because he sees you, he says, it's possible. What do you say to him?
I said, keep going. It is possible. I'm sitting here because of it's possible. I tell him keep going. I tell him there are a bunch of people out there that are rooting for you, of the same skin color, and a bunch of people not of the same skin color that are rooting for you. Because the fact is, no matter how much people might say, is country music ready for a black guy? Obviously they are. It's a bunch of us now. Myself, Kane, Darius, Mickey Guyton, and these guys that are playing my song on the radio, all the white guys. So obviously, they down. You know what I mean? So it's so many people out there that are, and the more I've traveled, I got a chance to do these concerts, I hit these small towns, you quickly see, yes, there are always people that have their mindset, they're who they are. But the world is more loving, and the country music family is more loving and accepted and willing to accept you than people might think. I've hit some of these towns. I remember I played a show often. I played Kid Rock show in Nashville, way out in the country, and I see this guy get off the stage. First, I look at this crowd, and I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I don't know how they're gonna feel about me. So my band walks on stage, they're all white guys, and they hold their drinks up in the air. And the crowd screams. I said, man, when they see my black face, oh, what's gonna happen? When I came out there, next thing you know, rock 'em. We got 'em. We got 'em right in the palm of my hands. I jump out in the crowd, going through people like, high fiving me and stuff. And I knew I had them. I started doing cover songs. So I did NMAAM by Shania Twain. And my manager was like, why would you do that? Whatever. But I love that song. But the crowd ate it up. I was like, so then afterwards we're doing this meet and greet line. I think it was like 50 people waiting to shake my hand. There's this one guy. This is how you can't judge a book by its cover. I think my EP was out then. And there's this one guy I saw. I was like, oh, is he in line to meet me or what's more sexy? So I'm not gonna lie, if you were to stereotype him, he looked like the type of guy that would yell the N-word and run down the street.
Okay. That's fair.
That's what he looked like if you judge a book by its cover.
Okay.
Man, he comes up to me. He says, Jimmy, I'm a huge fan, man. Me and my wife got your EP. We love Best Shot. We love Blue Jean Baby.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like,
wow.
Wow. And that right there, man, he followed every time I post something on Facebook. He likes it, comments on it.
Wow.
Like, and it's cool. That right there was another fact that, the media will focus on 2-3% that might not like you because of what you look like, where you're from. And they'll blow that up. See, that's the bad thing with social media. Because people will say, Jimmy, why all of a sudden all these hate crimes are happening now? I said, no, hate crimes been happening. They used to be worse. The thing is now, when something happens in Texas and you in Maine, you hear about it. When there was no internet or no social media, you had no clue. I said, imagine if every police beating from the 50s, if there was social media back then.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot worse
back
then than it is now. I said, the cool thing with social media, but sometimes it can deter different people from doing crazy stuff depending on what they look like and stuff. But, traveling, meeting people like Jeff that I met from the show, again, like I said, it drives home that there's more people out there willing to love you, accept you. And I tell people, don't get caught up in hype from the news and all that stuff. Yeah, you always be smart, always be cautious, but have your heart ready to love more instead of hating. Because that's really where it comes from. Because hate and violence, you're not born with it. You're taught. And you're taught with it no matter what color you are. Now, I have cousins that will tell me straight up, I don't like white people. Why? Then they'll be like, oh, they did this to so-and-so. Who did that to who?
Right.
Every white person you know did that to somebody. Who did what to you? Oh, man, they do nothing to me, but I said, see, that's the problem. I said, so you can't say, I told my cousin, I said, bro, you can't say you hate them and then get mad if someone says something to me. So I said, at the end of the day, God, it's not what other people do, it's what God requires us to do. And God requires us to just be good people and love everyone, and he'll deal with the rest. And that's how I try to move forward, try to be a good person. And like when I see a homeless guy on the street, like I do this thing where I keep $2 in my pocket. By the end of every day, I give it away. Because I remember when I was homeless, someone gave me $1 and I was able to eat for 2 days off that. I had him a chicken, I split that bad boy in half. I was a brother. but I try to give it away. And now people ask, well, what if they use it for this? Again, how they use it is not on me. God requires me to give. And that's how I just try to maneuver through every situation, looking to love more and give people a reason to love and not a reason, again, to hate. Because I've seen how, like when things happen, someone shoots up this building or someone does this, I think, I definitely pray for the victim's family and stuff, but I also think, okay, what in their life got them here? Where could someone stepped in and showed them a little bit more love, whether it's a little gesture holding the door? Because I remember I was in 8th grade, this kid was going to kill himself. And he decided not to because he said his milk carton fell off his tray. This girl handed it to him and said, hey, you dropped this. Hope you have a good day today. Bam. That little thing right there just changed his whole outlook on life in that day, man. So I think, I think it's an obligation as, a human and also being a Black guy in country music to show, like you said, other Black kids that It's cool, man. The water's great, bro. Testing it. I'm out here in the water, put my toe in.
Yeah.
It's good, don't get me wrong. Now, there's some waves that come by every now and again. You ain't ready by that undertow might try to pull on you, but we're coasting, baby.
Man, I love it. I love it, man. And you know what? I love that you use your platform in that way. You know, and a lot of times that's the beauty of success coming a little later. Like you said, you know, you were 32 before it happened to you. But maybe if you were 25 when it happened, that may not have been your perspective. You may not have been as responsible with the platform, with the success, to be able to use it for the greater good or to leverage it for the greater good. For sure. Hats off to you for that, for sure. You know, it's crazy because, man, I've been some crazy places around the world, man. And I tell anybody I know that works in the country music industry, especially in executive, I tell them all the time, the biggest mistake country music makes is not marketing to Black people. I don't think they realize how many Black country music fans there are in the world.
Tons.
Especially like down in the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. What have you seen in terms of Black country fan base?
Dude, it's my shows legit are Blacks, whites, Asians, Mexicans, people aging from ages to 6 to 85.
Wow.
And people I wouldn't think. So I played a show in Sacramento once. And I get there and they're promoting, you know, my show and stuff like that. And then there's these guys that came out to the show. And, you know, again, to judge a book by its cover, you think you'd see him at a hip hop show. Like one guy was chilling, he had some Timbs on, shirt, had his dreads. You know, he had a flat bill on. His buddy had a jersey. I didn't know people still wore jerseys. I didn't know, but apparently they do. Sacramento.
Okay.
And they out there chilling and knew every word to every one of my songs. And they're sitting right next to this older white guy with a cowboy hat on who knew every word to my song. Wow. So it's out. Like I tell people all the time, listen, Black people listen to country. So what if you do your history? Country came from blues. For being honest, and you talk to guys like George Jones and all them, they'll tell you they learned so much. They learned a lot of stuff they did from Black guys. Banjo comes from Africa, and there was a split. You had D4 Bailey in the 20s. He was an opera member, and I learned so much about, you know, D4 from this documentary I got to be a part of with Charlie Pride. How he purposely played the harmonica. When country was trying to get its roots going, how he purposely played the harmonica like the blues, because that's what people were used to. So he played it to sound like a train track. Now it's just so much. It's just so much stuff out there. Then someone said, "Well, how come, you know, there's more white people that listen to country than Black people?" I said, again, it's a generational thing. When country finally started getting popular, remember there's segregation. So if country's going western to predominantly white areas and Motown's kicking off. Barry Gordy started Motown. You got Diana Ross. You got all them rocking and rolling. And again, there's no social media, so you don't know there's a Black guy in Montana listening to country. So you just go with what you see and what you know. So if your family's listening to Motown, and that's all you see is Black people listening to Motown, you're listening to Motown. Because I remember with the Motown movement, and their shows, there were white people that were into the Motown movement. Hence why some of their shows were still half Blacks on this side, half whites on that side. You know what I mean? But you didn't see, since country really wasn't in Detroit or in New York or in Philadelphia
mainstream media.
or in mainstream media, you didn't see that there was a Black. The country music didn't even know Charlie Brown was Black. So how, you know what I mean? So it's just so much you know, stuff out there. And I've talked to label heads, you know, from my label and other labels. I've talked to program directors, and I say, hey man, and I tell other artists, why settle for this? You can do this. Right. I said, if there's, you know, young white kids that listen to the most hooded out hip hop artists you can think, and they know his song word for word, don't you think there's Black people that listen to country? Yeah. It goes. So no matter whatever the stereotype might be, there's always people that go against that stereotype. And then the more you open yourself up, you start to realize there shouldn't even be a stereotype, because it's evenly balanced. If you were to go around and do a census on everyone who likes what kind of music, you find a balance. You know, so it's been cool to see. I remember we played a show, and they were in Chicago, like right outside Chicago, And there's this lady, Florida. There's this older lady. She wanted to spend her 85th birthday at a Jimmie Allen concert. Oh, an 85-year-old white lady came to my concert. I'm like,
Wow.
she knew every song, rock and roll. So I went down the crowd. She was in a wheelchair, like dancing in a wheelchair and stuff. So that to me, again, it shows, man, people are open. You just gotta have someone that's willing to take a risk and step out there and see people open. And it's been great. So hey, if you're a black guy want to get into country music, do it. You know, if you're anyone of any race that wants to get into a career field where you don't see a lot of representation, still do it, because you'll find people along your journey and in that field that are willing to help. They're just waiting on you to make that move. So yeah.
I'll try to thank green.
Yeah, man, they're not.
Indeed. So old P-Funk Jam, One Nation Under a Groove. We all know. When you hear One Nation Under a Groove, what does that mean?
To me, it drives home that we're the same. Because see, I look at it like the world spin. And anytime you hear a song and you feel the groove, we're all dancing to it. But we all might have our different interpretations of what's being played. See what I'm saying? So it's like, when you look at it, the differences come in our interpretations. But when you look at what we're listening to, it's all the same thing. Again, it's more proof that we're a lot more alike than we are different. So I think it just means, you know, we're all out here trying to, at the end of the day, trying to provide for our families. And we're under this love thing, man, so we should show it more. So that's what I think of when I hear it.
So Jimmie, with all you've done, what does the future hold? What's next?
Man, you know, right now we got the Chris Young tour coming up, Kane Brown tour coming up. Rascal Flatts, some dates with them. Doing my first movie this summer. Working on something. With that, I got
Now, is this you producing the film or you?
No, I'm just acting in it.
Okay,
Acting in it. There's a guy who did the movie Love Actually. We're going to get together and try to write a movie, whether it's about my life and stuff. I got this kid book idea in my head, and hopefully see if we can, you know, start writing that at some point this year. Just writing more music, finding ways to connect with listeners and see if they want to hear more, and, you know, find more ways to be a better dad. And that's pretty much what's next for me. So
when it's all said and done, what do you want the Jimmie Allen legacy to be?
Man, want to be a tale of perseverance, never quitting, being good to people, and not settling. You know, just don't let anyone talk you out of pushing boundaries. You know, yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Awesome. My name is Shannon Sanders, and it has been my pleasure to sit down today with Jimmie.